G'day. Big drama in the Red Bull camp here in Mexico City today, with Liam Lawson and Sergio Perez going at each other and Yuki Tsunoda crashing out on turn 1. Let's start with Liam and Checo. The drama started on lap 18. Checo battles Liam on track, attempts to overtake him. The pair make contact and Checo's car is damaged. He fires up on the radio, "What the is this idiot doing? Is he okay?" Liam remarks to his pit wall, "Is he serious?" Short time later, Liam flips Sergio the bird from his car. Now remember that these two have the same employer, Red Bull, and they're both vying for a seat in 2025, and Liam's out to prove a point that he is the better driver. I saw Sergio just leaving the TV media pen afterwards, did a little bit with his social media crew, and at that time I didn't realise that he'd come out and said that Liam's not showing the right attitude. And when asked what his relationship was like with Liam, he said, "I don't have any relationship with him." However, Liam did apologise in the media pen, and then I saw him walking back with Paul Smith. Paul is the head of Red Bull's communications, and the pair were actively engaged in a conversation, and I gather it's about what had happened during the race and how they would handle it in terms of the media. But when Dr. Helmut Marko comes out and says something like contracts are useless, I think that doesn't sound very good for Sergio. And although he does have a contract, I think there's some big changes coming up. And if I could find a bookmaker to take this bet, I'd be having a multi. Checo out, Liam Lawson in that seat, Yuki to stay at VCARB, and Franco Colapinto to take Liam's seat. But of course I should say that I've lost money gambling before. Now before I get on to Yuki's turn 1 crash, let me tell you about Surfshark. This is a VPN provider. This is what it looks like on the app on my phone, but it's also a browser extension. What does it do? Well, it keeps your online identity safe. You can also set up your Surfshark account so it can detect when your passwords are being hacked or used by other people, which is a game changer for someone like me that has so many social media accounts. But get this, with Surfshark, I can teleport my device anywhere in the world, which gets me past region blocks. Like on so many occasions, I want to watch something on a streaming service in Australia, but because I'm outside of the country, it won't let me. Surfshark allows me to get around that problem. To sign up for Surfshark, click on the link in the description below, use the promo code KIM, you'll get 4 months extra free and you'll love it. Now let's go to Yuki's crash, turn 1. Then I see this puff of smoke and then a car in the air. So I change my focus from the field heading around turn 1 and follow Yuki back. At the time I didn't realise it was Yuki. And as he comes back here, you can see that there's a big flash of sparks underneath the car because the back right-hand wheel is missing, and it keeps coming back towards the photo tower, but obviously it wasn't going to hit me because I'm probably 20 metres to the left of it. And looking back at the pictures here, I can see a number of photographers have taken evasive action, as you would. And I follow it all the way back until it hits the barriers. Then Yuki gets out of the car and the doctor takes him over to the medical car and puts him in that, and he's whisked back to the medical centre for a checkup before they remove the car. But what floored me was the round of applause for Yuki when he walked back to the media centre. They winched that car off the track and ended up sticking it right behind the photo tower. And these are the shots looking down at the car, which is still smoking from the back end. And after everything stopped, I looked over to my left and I see this tyre on the grass just in front of where I was. And I thought at the time, that was very lucky that didn't bounce up and hit us, because we would have had no idea what was coming because our eyes are focused on the action. Of course, that was Yuki's second crash of the weekend. He ended up in the wall in the stadium on Saturday. Let's go now to the end of the race. I headed out to Parc Ferme to wait for the cars to come over. That's in the stadium. It's an amazing and unique Parc Ferme. I just happened to look behind me. Brad Pitt was up on one of the terraces enjoying a chat with some of the crew up there. They'd actually been filming on the grid prior to the race and the day prior in the stadium after quali. And if you're not aware of what they were filming, it's for a movie called F1. Anyway, the cars then rolled into their spots, 1, 2 and 3. Carlos got out and was well excited about it. He caught up with his mate Lando for a hug and a chat. And then it was off to the podium, which is in the stadium. It's the only one like it that we encounter. It's probably 250 metres away from the nearest garage in Pitt Lane. But what surprised me was when they awarded Lando his trophy, the crowd booed. Now, I had no idea that Mexicans didn't like Lando. And did anyone wear a sombrero on the podium like Max did? No. However, Peter Hardenacker and Timo Glock from Sky Germany did have sombreros on and some pretty nifty outfits. Not as flash as Charles's outfit on Thursday, but still, they made an effort. After the guys had done their media pen commitments and press conference, they headed out for celebrations. And Ferrari and McLaren are right next to each other in pit lane. Ferrari did their celebration first, and they had all of the world's media there documenting that affair. But before the drivers rolled up, Alessandro Fusaro, who is Charles's chief engineer, put on a little bit of a show. Why? Well, you might have seen this vision pop up on the internet, or you might have been watching it live. When he was walking backwards, that's his job, to direct Charles out, and he had a tumble. A short time later, though, the two drivers rolled up and they were about to do their celebration photo when Zak Brown suddenly appears from next door, photobombing it, which was quite hilarious. And then, of course, they sprayed the champagne and Zak made a hasty getaway. And then all the media were up around Carlos. There was champagne being poured over him. Eventually we pulled back a little bit and we had John Elkann on the right here. And on the left we had Carlos's engineer, who was actually up on the podium, wasn't he? Yeah. And while that was going on, most of the media was distracted. So I went next door to photograph the McLaren celebration. And then out of the blue, Carlos appears and photobombs the McLaren celebration. Then I popped back over to Ferrari, where Carlos is still holding court with his social media crew, and I could see Rebecca Donaldson, Carlos's girlfriend, in the background. And what a lovely look this was. And in fact, this was probably my biggest post on Instagram over the entire weekend. Let's talk about who had wives and girlfriends and family members at the track this weekend. I've already mentioned that Rebecca Donaldson was there, but so were Carlos's mum and dad and some other members of his family. Lando's brother Oliver joined us this race. We had Sergio Perez's wife and one of his youngsters, and also his dad, Antonio. And have a look at the socks that he was wearing today. Carmen accompanied George in on a number of days. We had Alexandra setting the internet on fire with a couple of magnificent outfits. And then today, when it got a little bit chilly in the afternoon, she got a bit more relaxed and donned a Ferrari tracksuit top to head out to the stadium to support her boyfriend, Charles Leclerc. But I did catch Rebecca and Alexandra chatting on the deck outside Ferrari. But later, Carmen took over that spot when Alexandra left. Lily He was once again at the track today with Alex. And I caught Hannah St. John having a long chat with some people from VCARB. And I couldn't help but notice her very interesting phone cover. And I've never seen anything like this before. Look, it's certainly no match for Quad Lock, but if you happen to like whatever that Rode product is, it says here Peptide Lip Tint, this would be a fantastic thing for you. And finally, we had Valtteri's girlfriend, Tiffany Cromwell, with us. Now, what else happened over the previous 2 days? Well, Lando Norris came in and took the sneaky path and was quite proud of himself here with this wry grin on his face. Lewis Hamilton, for the first 3 days, went a back route. And it's not a very pleasant place down there, the area behind the hospitality suites, but that allowed him to have a walk of maybe 5 metres to get into the hospitality suite. Except on race day, when he walked in and appeased all of the media assembled in the paddock. But Max went the back way on all 4 days. George Russell wasn't too worried about going the back route because he came in looking like a model on one day in this magnificent hoodie with an overcoat from their sponsor Tommy Hilfiger. And if you're wondering if there'll be a drivers drove video this week, the answer is no, because all of the drivers arrive via bulletproof cars, big SUVs. And I'm going to do a video coming up shortly to tell you which cars are rated for which guns. And I've seen some quite interesting information on this. You want to pay attention. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that one. Roman Grosjean was doing some commentating for Canal Plus, or Plus, however you say it. And I did notice when he put his hand up here like this in this photo, his burnt hand has healed reasonably well. But he did tell me that if it's under 13 degrees Celsius, that scarring turns purple. I guess that's a handy way of knowing if the temperature does drop below 13 degrees. As you know, Ollie from Red Bull does a piece of art most races around the pit box, and this was his effort this race, a quite nifty Day of the Dead mask. A number of the drivers actually returned to the paddock with their gifted Day of the Dead masks on Friday after they'd been to the fan zone. Franco Colapinto was happy to wear his, but Alex Albon needed a little bit of prompting from the media to get into the spirit of things. Daniel Ricciardo fans will probably remember Michael Italiano. A fella from Perth, like myself, was training Daniel for a number of years and then left to join the IPL. Well, he was back in the paddock as a guest, and I caught up with him for a few minutes to have a chat. He says IPL, which is a cricket league for those who don't know, is completely out of this world. See this clock? This is the Rolex clock in the paddock. And I can tell you that second hand does not move. Look at any picture of that Rolex clock and the second hand is always at 12. And does the minute hand move slowly like it does on a normal Rolex? Nope. It clicks over every minute. And if you like watches, make sure you follow me on Instagram for my regular watches of the Paddock Post. And I'll get a number of queries about the Mexican Grand Prix. Is it worth attending? Yeah, look, I love it. I think the people are great. The stadium has been upgraded recently. They've put a whole lot of digital signage around, which they actually use at night after the day's events to illuminate the areas for the staff to clean. Previously, they had a roof over, I think, about a quarter of it. Now there's a roof that runs all the way around, and they've put in some corporate seating. The rest of the seating is just concrete. So if you intend to attend, better bring along a padded seat cushion. And if you're wondering what it costs you to eat and drink at the Mexican Grand Prix, I took a couple of pics today. Here we have a jumbo hot dog for 160 pesos. That's about $8. Well, the same price for a pizza. And drink-wise, $3.50 for a soft drink, $19 for a 90ml shot of mezcal. And for memory, it was about $8 for a beer. But they actually bring that around to you in the stadium and even sell popcorn, which this woman carries around on her head. Well, it's been quite a hectic 4 days at the Mexico City Grand Prix, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, except the bloody traffic. Friday night, 2 hours and 10 minutes to go about 17 kilometres back to the city, a trip that this morning took me 20 minutes. But that aside, that is the second of a triple header. Next off, we're off to Sao Paulo. And I think it's going to be amazing to see the reaction that Franco Colapinto is going to get there. Now, before you leave, could you please hit the like button and subscribe? Or subscribe and hit the like button. I'm going to bed now. Thanks for watching.
And stay passionate.
Off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, sorry about that volume change there. 1 hour drama after another.